A brief little history and kind of bring everybody up to speed. I I guess it's been 2 years now. I was on a bike trip from Key Largo to Key West with my wife and a bunch of other people that we didn't know, but it turns out most of them were retired people. And so we, of course, migrated to the younger people, and they were also retired. And I was like, kind of interesting. And when you own your own business, there's really no such thing as retirement. It's like, well, if I have money, I can take the day off. If I have a lot of money, I can take a week off. If I have, actually, I don't think I've taken more than a week off since I started working. Well, probably when I was 11 years old delivering newspapers, I didn't really take a vacation from that. So, and then that rolled on to, the next job. So I'm always working for myself. There's never been a point where I, took time off from my job for more than a week, except for once some years ago for our wedding anniversary. But anyway, this summer I did it again, 2 weeks off. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I wanted to share this point first, that I was, in a very meditative state. I'm not really a meditation kind of disciplined person, but I like to be contemplative, if you will. And I was kind of meditating and praying about the whole thing with my kids, and of course the influence of the other people around me that were, they were all couples, so they were, doing exactly what I always dreamed I would do at some point in time, which is hang out with my wife and go biking all over the country. It seemed like a fun thing to do. But anyhow, so I called them from this campground one night and said that I'm turning over the business to you guys, and that's that. I don't call it retirement, but anyway, and of course it wasn't, because I really didn't have the money. There's not enough money in the business for them to pay me my full pay without working. So I kind of thought maybe I'm going to work part-time, maybe, who knows what that really meant. But I wanted to give them control, because I felt like I was holding them back by giving them, by being there. If I'm there, the employees that I might have hired and customers I know and things like that, all looking to me for answers. And the kids had better answers than me anyway. But anyhow, so with me out of the scene, they could really blossom. And they did, and the business got busier, and it's doing better than it was when I was running it. So it's been a few years. I had some nervous times, but nothing really that I needed to be nervous about. But, it's just, I sometimes tell the story about my dog. I had a lot of dogs that had puppies over the years. So the analogy I use is that when you have like a dog and he has puppies, like for 3 or 4 weeks, she never leaves the dog. She'll go out and use the bathroom and come right back in the house. And after about 6 weeks, you can walk her and she'll want to go out, and she'll go about 4 doors down the street, and next thing you know, she wants to turn around and come running back because she all of a sudden realizes she's panicked and she's got puppies they need to take care of. She'll go check on them all. And then about 7 weeks she'll go 2 blocks, and 8 weeks she'll go 6 blocks. But each time at some point it snaps and she just says, "Oh, I got to get home, and you just basically can't keep up with her, and you got to go back to the house. And that's kind of the same instinct I had. It was like, for no good reason, all of a sudden it just snapped. I'm like, oh, my business is going to fail. And, what am I going to do when we run out of money? I've had plenty of running out of money episodes, and they're stressful. And I don't have any retirement fund. I don't have, pile of money anywhere. I've got a building and some property that's done well, thank God. But otherwise, when you run an automotive business, you're basically making a big check or you're making a little check, but you just make a check. And never really had a chance to save anything up. And there's definitely no retirement package that someone else is giving me when you have your own business. But my point is this. I then got out of the automotive business, got into construction, and worked just as hard in construction, maybe harder than I did in the body shop. So I went from, workaholic to workaholic. There was no break in between, and it's all good, but I learned a lot, and it was interesting to work hard at a business that you had to think a lot more. I knew the automotive business, I just worked. But in the construction, I had to, I was watching videos on YouTube in the morning and learning different techniques and stuff like that, so it's been good. But this year there's been some changes, and I am feeling like things are going well, but I'm not in a position to let everything set anything down. The construction company's not really making money per se. My youngest son, Dave, is still learning, but he's ready to take things over. And I think because the kids had taken over so early, he's even taking over earlier, and he's ready to go. And he's got his older sister, Rachel, assisting him, so they really should be fine. So I could leave them alone. But then I'm like, what am I going to do? And that little sense of maybe I could take time off has sort of been a little bit panicky. And the other thing that came to my realization is that when you slow yourself down enough and really take time to, I started, I remember talking to Dara about wanting to create some gap between things I was doing all day. So in the morning, I want a little more time. In the afternoon, a little more time. Before we go out at night, if we go see friends, I need a little bit of time. And so I just try to create some blank space throughout my day. And with that, I was able to, relax my brain a little bit and my body. And I also was, just this year, I've been sort of like, I'm always trying different diet stuff, and we'll talk more about that stuff. But, spirituality and diet and all that kind of stuff's always been interesting to me. And I've always sort of studied a little bit here and there when I had a moment. But the concluding point was that I worked this year a lot on changing my diet over to mostly fruit and doing some detoxing. I don't have anything really big that I'm detoxing, but I figured I don't want to go through my life and not know how to detox in case I ever do, get diagnosed with something that's, terrible that I don't want a doctor to be cutting me open for or whatever else. So, and it's less likely to have a problem if I've detoxed some now. But that really was interesting because it opened up a lot of my spirituality. And between the slowing down and the detoxing, I was like, what's going on? So I started this journey of pursuing my my goal for my second half of my life, which is to get a handle on this whole spirituality question that I've always had. And I feel like the more I've pursued the getting comfortable in my own skin and getting to know who I am and slowing down, the better the perspective I've had on life. And so I feel like why not go all in and see where I end up. So I sort of committed myself to going to the end of the summer. And at that point, I'll decide kind of what I want to do. Go back to working or not working or do some other type of work or, whatever. But hopefully helping other people. But anyway, we'll see where that goes. I'm going to post some more videos on break up some of those topics and more specific about what's been going on so far. Thanks. Love you guys. See ya.